welcome to our next episode of Forensic Foreplay. I'm Dee Dee. Where's my co-host? Hello.
Here I am.
There he is. How's it going, fella?
It's going good. It's raining here in Indianapolis. So that picture behind me is not real. It's
I
a
can
fake picture
tell.
because it is pouring down. Hopefully the internet will stay on and
Well,
our
it's a
show won't
lot
get.
prettier than the skyline of Seattle, I'll say that.
Oh, I don't know. Is it really?
Yes.
Well, this
Because
has
Seattle's a heap of
been
shit.
color enhanced. I'm sure that we have NCAA double A tournaments going on this weekend here in
Oh, that's
Indianapolis.
right. Well, it's March. It's the Final Four. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, it's crazy here. We got St. Patrick's Day. We have Final Four. I mean, well, actually, I don't know if we have Final Four here, but we have like the first series of games going on. So, and the IU lost, so I don't know if that we still have Notre Dame and Purdue involved.
Oh,
So
oh gosh. Yeah, you do.
I did see though. There's something. I know you're from Texas. I saw a Texas Longhorn female swimmer that got beat by that dude in the nationals in the 500-meter freestyle or something like that.
Well,
It's everybody's up in arms about the guy
he,
that's a
he,
girl, that's a girl,
he
that's a
could
guy.
say he could say woman all he wants, but he's not a lady.
Well,
He's not a lady.
I just want our viewers to know that I would still hold the world record if I would have been a transgender back in 1985 when I ran the intermediate hurdles. If I
Well,
would
you
have
know
been a
what they
girl.
say. If you can't win at man sports, find a way to compete against women.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to compete against women. I made the mistake today. I was walking
We're
into Home
ruthless.
Depot and there was a lady there waiting on her husband to come pick up. She had a big box of stuff that had to be put together. I said, "Oh, you got some putting together to do there." And she goes, "I'm not going to be doing it."
I think
I'm like,
it's absolutely gross. I think it's kind of I don't know. I think it devalues us as women. It really does. Oh well, let's not forget that what with the Rachel Levine with the Woman of the Year. Woman, okay, but it's not a lady.
I don't understand this deal, man. It is I don't know. I can't deal with it. So it's well, there's more important things to talk about,
The
like
best way to
this.
play that game is to not play it at all.
Yeah, it ain't a game when it gets that way. But there's more important things. We got people in jail that maybe shouldn't be in the jail. So
It's
what's
absolutely.
on the plate tonight?
Tonight we are discussing the Chris Vaughn family murder case.
Hmm. I
And
like
this is I'm going to lay out a trigger warning. And normally I don't do the trigger warnings, but this does involve the murders of children. So if you are weak or if it breaks your heart, and trust me, I've been going over this case for the past several months and I've cried a couple of times. It is heartbreaking on both sides of the fence, not just for Christopher. And I don't like how people lump him. Every I noticed there's a trend with true crimers. Oh, he's just like this person. Well, Chris Watts, and no, he's like Scott Peterson. This case is entirely different, and no case is exactly alike. But you get those folks that have tunnel vision, okay, where they're trying to match and fit that puzzle into this murder or that murder, and you can't do that. Every case is different.
Yeah. So what made you pick this one? Because there's a lot of cases out there.
Well, because I'm an Illinois native,
Okay.
I was born and raised in central Illinois. And, whenever I happened to stumble across the Murder in Illinois podcast by Lauren Pachenko, and and for anybody watching or listening, please, before you establish an opinion just off of my show, please go listen to Lauren Pachenko's podcast with Murder in Illinois. It is in 12 episodes, and she has done years. I have an hour. She has 12 episodes. She has done years of extensive research with bullet trajectories, and you've got forensic teams and the Illinois Innocence Project working on Christopher's case. Please go listen to this podcast, because by the time you may have an opinion on episode 1, but by episode 12, you're going to feel completely differently.
So did they do that is that on purpose to keep the audience or what? I mean, I know
Well,
that Dateline makes you can
oh,
tell a story in 5 minutes, and it takes them 2 hours to. I know, and they just drag it out.
I listen to Dateline when all of my good podcasts have no new content. Like Dateline is like the bottom of my barrel.
Well, hey, that's good to know because I don't. This is the only crime show I actually watch, and I'm
Well,
on it.
well,
So
with Dateline, I listen to Josh Mankiewicz, and he gets on my nerves because he honestly sounds like he needs to constantly blow his nose. Like he sounds stuffy. Yes, he talks through
I
his
can do
nose.
his imitations.
And then you've got Keith Morrison. He delivers a good story. I don't
He's the
mind
one. Is that the
Morrison.
guy that introduced me? Interviewed
Yes,
me? Okay.
that's who you talked to whenever you were in Salida
He,
on
he
the
looks.
Suzanne Morphew case.
He doesn't look that old on TV. That dude is old. I mean, he is. I'm just saying. I mean, I remember meeting Brent Musburger too back when the Pan Am games were here. I'm like, going, he had like 5 gallons of makeup on. He was old too.
Honestly, Keith Morrison reminds me of the Smucker's jelly guy. Do you remember the
Oh
Smucker's
yeah.
jelly guy? That's the vibe I get. Yeah,
And I
could
kept
toss some
forgetting his
great
name when
jelly.
I was talking to him. I kept forgetting the guy's name. I'm like, and then I saw him at the vigil too, and I was like, "What's your name again?"
And
But he looked familiar.
there's the other guy, and I can and of course, shame on me now that I'm on camera and I'm on the spot. I can't remember his name. He's African American. He did a lot of the debates with the last presidential campaign, and he was so biased. And I cannot remember his name, but he sucks at telling.
Is he on the crime shows too, or
with the Dateline? I believe that's.
now there was a Quintinas guy or Quintana. What's that guy's name? Katana or
I don't know.
He's
I'm thinking of. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember the. Is it Dateline NBC or ABC? It would have to be ABC.
Boy, this is a great try. We better get into our show because
I know.
we're not doing very well on that part of things. So,
Okay, so to kick us off, why don't you pull up the picture I sent you of Christopher and his wife and his babies? He's got 3 children.
You want the graduation picture, or you want the?
Let's do that one. Let's do that one.
Okay, let's do that one. There you go. Here's the picture. You can talk over this one.
You got the fella in the shades. That is Christopher Vaughn. His wife Kimberly. Yep. The oldest girl is Abigail.
Looks like the mom.
The mom is Kimberly.
No, I said the Abigail looks like the mom, and the other one looks like the dad a little bit.
Yeah, well, the oldest one looks like her mama.
Yeah.
And that is Abigail. And Cassandra, they call her Sandy. She favors her daddy. And then there's Blake. Blake is 8. Cassandra is 11. And Abigail is 12. Okay, so they had Abby and Sandra very close in age. Okay. So I know Chris from with what I've dug into this case. Now, Christopher and Kimberly, they dated when, they were in high school, but Kimberly was a good 2 years older, maybe more than Christopher. I think he was a sophomore and she maybe was a senior. So they were, I hate to say high school sweethearts because that just taints it.
Now, is this Illinois? Now, are they from Illinois too? Or
yes, they are. Okay. Yes, they are. Now, on Wikipedia, it says that Christopher and Kimberly were from Seattle. No, they were not. Christopher is a born and raised Midwestern guy. I think he was born in Mississippi. And then they moved up more towards, the Illinois area. And then whenever he married Kim, of course she was pregnant. So they married young,
So how old were they when this all went down? So they had that one daughter was 14.
From what I've gathered, Chris was 32, Kim was 34, Abigail was 12, Cassandra was 11, and Blake was 8.
Man, so they were young, pretty young.
Yeah,
wow.
They were. And this all took place. I keep my little Post-it notes. Now, whenever this took place, and me being a true crime junkie, I was like, well, why did I not hear of this? Now, this case was actually overshadowed by the Drew Peterson case. The crooked Cook County cop that mysteriously had wives that would up and disappear.
Yeah, and now he was out on the West Coast, wasn't he?
Dude, no, you're thinking of Scott Peterson.
Oh, what? I'm thinking, man, if your last name's Peterson, you better watch out.
You're fucking doomed.
Yeah, I was like,
you are.
So you got Scott, and now what's this?
Scott and Lacey were out of California, and I will do that on a next show because I don't think he's guilty either. But that's my opinion. I do not. DNA, people, DNA. But no, this case was actually overshadowed by the Cook County police officer, Drew Peterson. He had like 3 wives that just
disappeared.
Disappeared. Oh yeah. And I don't honestly, that last one, I don't think they ever found her body.
Well, hey, he practicing,
They did not find out. I think her name was.
So did they ever catch him? Did they ever get him on anything? Or
they did. Yeah, he's in prison. He's in prison. Okay. Good for you, James Glasgow, because you railroaded several others. You got to win with that one. Yeah, a state's attorney out of Will County, James Glasgow, was the one that convicted Christopher Vaughn. It was by character assassination.
So the same
bullshit.
The same evidence. One that did the Peterson. The same.
Yeah, he got Drew Peterson. Oh, and he beat his chest on that one. Look at me. I got the man that killed all 3 of his wives. But they knew Drew Peterson was dirty after the second wife's death. But they.
Oh yeah.
They let him go on. They let him go on. And now James Glasgow. I want to tell you, I would love to pick his brain to figure out where the hell he's coming from, because Christopher Vaughn's case is not the first one. And there was a gentleman by the name of Kevin Fox out of Will County, Illinois. They were going to put him on death row for murdering his baby that was kidnapped off her fucking sofa. They didn't even examine the evidence.
They just automatically jumped to him.
They automatically jumped the gun. We call that tunnel vision, where you just hone in on one person and nothing else matters, nothing else exists. Well, in Kevin Fox's case, the man that killed his little girl, and Riley was 4, I believe 3 or 4 years old, his name was Scott Ebby. His shoe was found at the crime scene. He left his shoe. And here's the thing. His name was written on the bottom of his shoe, left right next to little Riley Fox's body.
And
they never even forensically examined the DNA.
Now, how long ago was this?
Oh my gosh. Kevin Fox's 15? Case. I think it was 2012. Do not quote me on it, because it
was 10 or so years. We'll give you that leadway. Okay, so let's go through this case. Let's go through the start. Let's go through what sort of happened, and then to where he got convicted. Let's start there. So I'm like, well, I want to find out more about this. This is right next door to the Indiana state.
It is. So. It is. I didn't hear about this case, and for a long time, I just happened to stumble upon this case listening to the Murder Illinois podcast by Lauren Pachenko, and I was like, well, this is in my home state. What the fuck was I doing? I just got married. I was on my way to Fort Lewis, Washington, so I didn't even hear about this. And this case was deeply overshadowed by the Drew Peterson case. So I didn't even hear about it. Nothing. And I happened to stumble across that podcast. And on June 14th of 2007, Christopher and his wife and all 3 of his children were en route to Springfield. And I know this, you're going to recognize this one. They're going to Knights Action Park. Knights Action Park. And I know that Kimberly, from what I gathered, she had there were some mental health problems. She was put on a couple of drugs. It was Topamax, and there was one other one. It starts with an L. I can't put my finger on it right now. And actually, Topamax had been pulled from the market.
Lorazan or something like that.
Lorazepam? Is it Lorazepam?
Lorazepam. We're butchered sure. That, but yeah, I think that's one of them.
But now Topamax is by Pfizer, and Topamax's side effects, it can cause depressive states, homicidal thoughts, suicidal tendencies, and blah, blah, blah. Of course, they'll just prescribe anybody anything. Forget
So
the side effects.
she was seeing somebody to help her with
She
get
was.
her heel evened.
She was.
Okay.
There
Now, how
was
was he seeing anybody on this, or was he
Christopher didn't have any mental health issues.
Okay, he wasn't seeing a
No.
counselor or anything like that. So okay, all right, proceed.
Christopher was a great outdoorsman. He loved to camp. His family, he was born and raised a traditional kiddo. They were very outdoorsy. They went fishing and, all the things. They didn't do the video games. He's a Gen X, obviously. His parents were very old school. There was no Ataris, no Nintendos, or anything like that. If you wanted entertainment, you go outside. His parents were, and I've had some communications with his mother. She's a very gracious lady. She's very sweet. And I want to give a shout out to her because she's a sweet lady. She's wonderful. And she's had to put up with a lot.
Yeah, I can't even
losing 3 of your grandbabies and having your child blamed for it.
It's like, that's the worst nightmare coming true. And you're on your way to the water park. That's what really just sort of, maybe on the way home, you might
see, that's what
on the way.
Now, Chris had already made reservations because him and his wife's anniversary was approaching. So he had already made reservations at a bed and breakfast. For several days later.
How many years had they been? Well, that had been like 13 years or
because 13, 14 years. Yeah. So, but now this is what really gets me. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that come for me.
More do we need to lengthen the list and up the security?
Everybody always
dig a moat around your house. What's up?
I know. But here's the thing. Kimberly had expressed to Chris that she wasn't feeling well. She was feeling nauseous. Basically, pull over, I'm going to throw up. So he pulled over and he gave her some space. He got out of the vehicle, shut the driver's side door. He went and tightened, like you got your ratchet straps because he had like a luggage bin on the very top of their SUV. Had a big old, like it was a Ford Explorer type.
So it's like family vacation deal.
Right. And they were always traveling. They were always going places. So this was not new. So he's like, okay, I'm going to pull over. I'm going to give you some space. I'm going to get out of the vehicle. I'm going to tighten the luggage, check up everything. And then after he did that, he when he tightened that latch on that top luggage strap, he said, now this was later in the episodes of the Murder in Illinois podcast, because for the longest time, he claimed that he did not remember what took place. It took a lot of time for Christopher to admit the fact that his wife had murdered her children. But he said in the very last few episodes, his statement given to Lauren Pachenko in the Murder in Illinois podcast was when he was on the outside of their SUV, he heard the vehicle exploding. He heard what sounded like exploding noises coming from the vehicle. He opens the door, looks in to get blown right back out the door. He was shot in the wrist and in the leg. And I believe it was the right wrist and the right leg because he was left-handed. I could be mistaken. It could be reversed, but I don't think so. He come to, he looked, all 3 of his babies were gone. There was 2 gunshots in each child, 1 in the belly and 1 in the head with each child. That's 2, 4, 6 shots. She had a 9mm. Okay. Christopher was shot in the wrist and in the leg. And when he was able to climb in, his wife was shot right here. Okay. Right there. But he did it.
So that's all the shots in that gun. I counted 9. If I was trying to pay attention, it's 9.
Now, 3, 6, 9, 11, 12. Chris had 2 shots. She blew him right outside that driver's side door.
Okay.
Bam, bam.
So
she was shot right here. Now,
Wow. Okay.
what scrambled the jury and the investigators was the fact that Kimberly was slumped, and keep in mind this is dead weight, and Kimberly was not a size 2. She was a little bit of a bigger girl. So you've got a lot of dead weight blocking that female end of the belt buckle. He couldn't move her. But of course, after you basically just see all 3 of your children be obliterated in front of your face, he was shaking and he was shot twice. So there was blood transfer. When he had tried to lean over, he was basically thinking, I'm going to buckle her in, because he didn't want her flopping all over the dashboard because she was slumped. So he tried to buckle her in. He physically could not do it. He was injured twice and he was shaking so bad. And if anybody that tries to judge this man, don't do that.
He was not thinking straight. Okay,
Would
so
you be thinking straight if you look in the back seat and you've seen all 3 of your children basically just obliterated in front of your face?
There's going to be shock involved. So what did he do then?
What his intention was to buckle her in and just to drive their SUV for help. He could not do that up here, or physically. It was just not going to happen. He was found wandering the highway looking for help. When I say wandering, I could say staggering. He's been shot twice. He was picked up, taken to hospital where he was treated, and he kept asking, can somebody call my wife? Can somebody please call my wife? She's going to be really mad if I don't touch base with her. She's really going to be mad. I don't think it clicked to him that Kimberly was dead. He knew the babies were gone. He knew that.
So how far was he away from the car? How far was he away from the car? I mean, he had wandered.
Whenever she shot him, he was climbing. He was literally opening the door into the driver's side.
When somebody picked him up, how far had he wandered?
It was a bit. I don't know exactly how many blocks, or I want to say maybe a 10-minute walk from the SUV. But I don't know how fast you can walk being shot twice. I've never been shot twice. I don't know how fast I could walk being injured like that. But I'm going to say
somebody picks him up
10 or 15 minutes. So
they pick him up, they take him to the hospital, but nobody knows about the SUV. So did you say this was in a remote area then, right?
Yes, it was I think it was in the Farm and Country Road. It was in Springfield on the way to Knights Action Park.
Okay.
You know that road. I know that road. In 2007, there was nothing there.
So nobody, even if somebody drove by, they wouldn't suspect.
I do not think they even had a cell tower or anything on that road in 2007. No way.
Wow. So, okay. All right. So now what? The guy gets treated. They come back. They do all this, and they say, "Oh, guess what?"
They pull him in for questioning. They say, "Chris, what happened?" He says, "I can't remember." You can't remember. You must have killed your wife and kids.
So they sort of planted that in his
tunnel vision.
Man, this is I'm intrigued. This might be the time I put up this part of the program on here. Do you think Chris Vaughn is guilty or not guilty? Answer in the comments, because
I do not. No,
I don't know. So
I don't think so.
You can't. Oh wait, we actually here's some help from one of our loyal.
We have comments.
Yeah, we've actually got viewers too. It's unbelievable.
Lorazepam. That's what it's called. Lorazepam.
Very helpful. And then we also have somebody. I think this is Twitch. I believe this is Twitch. We actually have a viewer on Twitch. So yeah. So we're reaching. We're live. We're like ZZ Top. We're nationwide all of a sudden. So, hey, anyway, I'm riveted to this thing. I'm trying to figure out. I'm really torn. I don't know if he's innocent or not innocent.
You want to pull up the link that I gave you on the investigating innocence.
Yeah, let's put that up, and then people can look at that.
Right, just pull that up so everyone can see the bullet trajectory, and where there was the blood transfer, and the gentleman that you see in the glasses right there, I believe that is Bill Cutter. And I'm going to give a shout out to
I see
Bill Cutter, because dude, this man is the most phenomenal forensic person I would love to pick his brain. He is so smart.
Well, get his
Love
phone
this
number.
guy.
That'd be great for our show. I mean, I'm sure that
I love Bill Cutter. I've had a couple of communications with him back and forth. And there's a Facebook page. There's a Facebook page and there's a petition that people can sign. Christopher Vaughn is innocent, and it's on Facebook. And is innocent is in capital letters. His mother, Gail, runs this page, and she is absolutely precious. She's a very gracious woman. His dad is just as sweet. You know,
so here I got this bullet projector. I'm telling you what, we are like a cutting edge show. You told me to pull something out, I just pulled it up, and look, there you go. There's the trajectory of this thing, and that's from her side of the thing. The way that goes, the way it looks. You'll have to hold on for a second, and I can give you the other. That your buddy Bill, I can give you that, but it's going to take me.
He's not my buddy. I've had some comms with him. I would love for him to be my buddy because I could learn so much. But he's an amazing person.
Yeah, so we'll have it here. We'll see a little Bill. We'll at least see half of his face. It'll be like Wilson on Home Improvement. You see a little bit of his face here, but let's see if I can get it for you. I pulled up here. I got a lot of pictures we've saved. Okay, so let's see here. It's funny. It's right by the Bob Saget one we did last time. So, yeah. Any news on that, by the way?
One, but I'm not going to talk about Bob Saget.
Then the family got that seal, didn't they, for good? And,
they had the latest breakthrough that he got the fracture from falling and hitting his head on the carpet.
Well, that carpet, it must have been shag. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That shag carpet's pretty bad. Oh, here you go. Here's your buddy. Well, your wannabe buddy.
That's Bill.
So see,
I believe it's Bill.
You said he had glasses, so that looks like a guy with glasses.
Now, and this
little finger there.
There was a whole team of people working this crime scene reenactment and the bullet trajectory. Now, this goes to show you those children, and I absolutely hate doing this. I have 4 babies of my own. This makes me sick to my stomach. But all she had to do was unbuckle her belt and turn and shoot. Bam, bam, bam.
Well, and the way that trajectory is, if you look at where he's pointing and where this, that goes, that sort of goes right where, from that side of things. So but hold on a second. So they didn't use any of this forensics in the court thing.
Nope.
So
this was done after the trial. This was done after Christopher was already convicted. Like, this was done like 2 years ago.
So what they do, find the Suburban or whatever this thing was?
This is where tunnel vision. No woman would ever murder her 3 children. It had to be the husband because he had an affair. Yeah, he was a little philanderous, and that's a douchey thing to do, but that doesn't make him a murderer. It does not make him. But there was no mistress. Unlike Chris Watts, there was a mistress. And I can even delve into that fucking mess. I am not lumping Christopher Vaughn into the Chris Watts category. No.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, in that case, it was, he sort of lied and they caught it and they figured it all out.
If you're going to shoot your wife, are you going to shoot her right here or right here? Because if he was going to,
I don't know. I never really thought about it, but hey.
I mean, but here's the thing. His DNA was not found under her fingernails. If you see anybody, whether it's your husband, your neighbor, or some bystander off the street coming to with a weapon, is going to kill your 3 children, are you going to put up a fight? Are you going to claw and fight?
Okay, now hold on. Let's see. Let's talk about this though. What if he was threatening to kill? Now let's just do this hypothetical thing here. So say he was going to. How do we know the order of how people were killed? So say I'm going to kill our kids, and then he kills her first and then the kids. Would that
no way
make any sense?
No
When
way. Because you
I
know
just
what?
after I
He's
said
got
that
three
made sense. But
children. He's got 3 children. And you've got driver's side. Okay, camera. Driver's side, passenger side, back passenger, back driver. There are 3 different ways those babies could have escaped. Those babies went first.
okay, yeah, it's like that's why I'm not a criminal. I don't have a very good criminal
And
mind.
the one little boy was shot with his hands like this, Blake.
So he was probably last,
It
probably
was a
knowing it was
defensive
coming.
position.
Man, that's just, we talked off there. We talked about a couple of these other cases where the one lady that drowned her kids in the bathtub, and the other one drove her car into the
Andrea
lake,
and Susan Smith.
and so it's just not, I guess, that uncommon. So let's fast forward to the court. How'd this guy get railroaded into jail so quick?
Well, because they didn't really have enough forensic evidence. They really didn't. They got him on character assassination, and the evidence they did have was swayed to fit Glasgow's narrative.
Okay, so
Because
who's
if you think
Glasgow?
about it,
Who's this guy?
James
Tell our people
Glasgow,
who he
he's
is.
the state's attorney out of Will County. He's the same fucker that railroaded Kevin Fox.
Okay, who's Kevin Fox?
He was wrongfully convicted of murdering his own child before they even ran any evidence or DNA. And the killer of his child was actually a fucker by the name of Scott Ebby.
Okay.
So James Glasgow has a history of wrongful convictions.
So
Christopher Vaughn's case,
and in your opinion, this is another one.
We're going to cover Kevin Fox's case next month, and then we're going to do a recap of Chris's case.
Okay,
because
so
this needs to be brought forth. I am so sick of innocent people serving time in prison. We've got pedophiles selling kids left and right, wandering the street. This is not fair.
Yeah, it's just so. So he goes to court. They find him guilty, and this was like 7 years ago, 9 years ago.
His court date, his trial date was August of 2012. So it was several years after the murder. And I'm going to tell you something. They arrested him the day of his children's funeral.
So he sat in jail. Did he get out on bond, or did he sit in jail the whole time
he was out for a good hot minute. They arrested him the morning of his children's funeral. So he did not even get to attend their services. They did. So
then they kept him in jail until
they let him sit there. Yep.
For 4 years or whatever.
It was a good bit. I'm not quite sure because there's a lot of discombobulations on social media and Wikipedia, and don't rely on Wikipedia.
Oh my God, Wikipedia is not a source. I mean, it's we can make up stuff there.
Poo-poo. Do not.
So it doesn't sound like he had.
There was so much evidence.
Here's a question.
Was not allowed to be given to the prosecution. Like there was a lot of stuff that was hidden, and we see that with a lot of cases. We see that a lot of cases where there is a lot of evidence that is not allowed to be given to the jury, like past behavior. Like when you've got, let's say you got a guy that is on trial for beating the living snot out of his girlfriend. His previous offenses of domestic violence are not allowed to be put before the court. You can't say that. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of times they will not allow evidence that show patterns of behavior to go towards the jury.
I don't get that.
You have to keep that quiet.
One question. We have a question from our audience. We actually have a question. We have a question here. Wasn't Susan Smith's crime in Illinois?
I thought she was in Michigan. But I don't know.
Question. So
that was a long time ago.
If you would have said that more confidently, then we would.
I thought that she was Michigan. I don't know. Actually, Shelley Mead, that's my mother.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Your mom is responsible for the very first question we've ever had on our show.
Let me see. Awesome. Hold on.
Okay, we're going to Google this.
I am Susan Smith.
Actually, I built a house here in Mooresville for Mark and Susan Smith. It was.
Oh my gosh! You know what?
What?
Her parents' last name are Vaughn.
What? Did you plant your mom in the audience?
No, No,
for
I
this.
did not. No, her parents' name are Linda Vaughn and Harry Vaughn. What is
There's
this?
a conspiracy going on here. Who
No,
knew?
she was born in South Carolina. She was very Southern. No, yeah, she's in South Carolina. She was
in Southern Illinois. Is that what you're trying to say?
By her, because I'm like, I thought it was like a Lake Michigan thing because it was a huge, massive lake. That's why I'm like, was it Michigan? No, she was South Carolina.
Oh, and the lake was in
Susan Smith.
And that's the one that drove the kids into the car
and drowned her two little
down
boys,
the boat ramp or whatever.
Michael and Alexander, 3 and 14 months in 1994. Yep.
Man, I'll tell you what, we got.
I remember her.
Break. It was like, yeah, I remember hearing the stories about this. I didn't hear this.
I'm wondering if my mother, if you're watching, Mom, do you remember Deborah Downs? Let's see if that was very early 80s. She was pregnant the same year that my brother was born in the early 80s. Like, this is a whole mess.
Man,
and she'll never get out.
A long time ago. I mean, anybody
will never get out. Nope.
Your mom's probably about my age. I don't want to say.
You guys are the same generation.
I was born in 61. I don't know.
She was born in 60, so you're like a year younger than her.
I knew she was cool. I could just tell by her question. but yeah. So does your mom live in Illinois?
Yeah.
Is she a farmer?
She's got some land. Yeah, they have an equestrian rescue. So she has horses, and they take care of horses.
Yep, I ran track in Champaign, Illinois, and Urbana. Actually, I've bike raced there. I've actually won a bike race in Champaign when I was like 50, and then I won my very first indoor track 50-yard hurdles and I was a freshman. And on the way home back to Indiana, if you go down 74, you see the little pheasants running on the. So we talked our track. We kept talking smack that we could outrun those because we're track guys, we're brothers from St. Louis and whatnot. We could run and catch one of those pheasants.
No, you
can't. Cortez, he pulls over the van. He says, "Okay, boys, you go out and get you one of those pheasants." And we took off running, and they were gone. He's still laughing to this day about us thinking we could run down those pheasants. So your mom says, "I do not."
I do not what?
I don't know. What was the question?
I don't know.
What'd you ask her?
I didn't ask her anything.
You asked a question about something.
Did I say something? No, because I said that you guys were a year apart. She was born in 1960. You were born in 61. So you guys are, like the same generation. Y'all are a year apart. But yeah, I grew up in a very tiny shithole town in central Illinois called Villa Grove. I don't claim it.
You don't claim it. What population? 59 or what you got there?
I think it was 3,200 last I checked, but I don't claim it.
So you guys, John Mellencamp, that guy, little pink houses, and this because John Mellencamp's from Seymour. He actually lives in Bloomington, and Seymour was a little.
That's over by Bloomington.
Yeah, Seymour is just like straight down 65.
Yeah, I went to a gymnastics club. I used to tumble. That was just right up from Bloomington.
Yep.
I went to my cheerleader camp that was in Bloomington.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff. But the Seymour was one of those little towns that they had Oktoberfest. And,
yes.
You know
what? One thing I miss that we do not have here in Texas is Indiana has covered bridge festivals.
You don't have any covered bridges in Texas.
We don't have shit here in Texas, but fucking
You got all the exes. Everybody's exes moved to Texas.
Well,
that's what I heard.
I'm sorry. My husband would get so mad at me if I say anything, so I'm not going to say anything.
He's your IT guy, so you may not be able to get on show.
I gotta sleep with that man, so I can't say nothing.
Well, you want to though. All right, back to the case. Come on. I mean, we get sidetracked here like crazy. So you ask your mom a question, and we can't remember the question, but she did.
Gab hour. We just need a gab hour just to shoot this shit and just be ornery boogers.
Well, we're only on once a month, so I guess we can have some.
There's never enough time.
On that. So this poor guy's rotting in jail. Then where's he in jail at?
Well, oh my gosh, that's a good question. He was in Joliet. Hold on, I can double check for you. As far as
maybe we could get the Blues Brothers to go break him out.
He didn't and the thing is, the reason why he did not want to like go forth with anything, because he did not want to go back to Joliet. He did not want to go back. And when you go back to certain prisons, you are put right back in the hands of the people that put you away. Okay.
So what's his sentence? I mean, is he like life without parole?
Yes, he's life.
So now we have this guy that we may or may not be guilty of this thing.
Well, I'm going through, and I'm not able to find where he's actually, because now he's been moved to a medium correctional facility, and I'm trying to figure out where it was again, because I know Lauren had brought that up in her podcast. She had brought that up, and I'm not able to find where he's at now.
But he's still Midwest.
It's still. I know it's in Illinois. I know
that Michigan City is the one where they put death penalty people, but I don't know.
Well, Illinois.
Terre Haute's got a pretty maximum. Terre Haute's got a maximum fed.
Well, yeah.
So I assume
but Illinois did away with the death penalty. They don't do that now because they've had too many innocent people put away in prison for things that they didn't do.
I mean, death penalty's been sort of off the table for a while, but
right. Well, Illinois has got of what we've seen with Kevin Fox and several others, Illinois has got a bad habit of putting innocent people in prison.
Illinois doesn't have
because of guys like James Glasgow. He's got their head up their ass.
Yeah, you better watch out. That guy, he could probably prosecute you.
Well, alleged for entertainment purposes only. Don't come for me.
I need to get that disclaimer up on there.
Honestly, I would love to sit down for coffee with that man and say, what the hell were you thinking?
Maybe you could get
this man away for life with what little of what he had.
Maybe you could get this guy here. That guy
trajectories at the time of Chris's trial. There was none of this. None of it.
You can get that guy with the little hat and glasses there.
His name is Bill Clutter.
That'd be interesting.
He works at the Illinois Innocence Project. Now, do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Now there is a Netflix show. Joshua, you're watching. Was it Making of a Murderer with Stephen Avery? I think that's the one. Now that is in Wisconsin. Now the Innocent Project. Now the lawyer
that I think that is, you're right there.
Right now, the lawyer, one of the attorneys that is working with that case is also working with Chris's case, because Stephen Avery was wrong. It was Wisconsin. My cousin Mary's from Wisconsin, and I knew I was inching towards the right spot.
That cousin Mary, we got to get her on the phone.
Oh, I love my cousin Mary. She's so pretty. I love her. She is a former Mrs. Minnesota, mind you.
Oh, well, yeah, we definitely need to get her.
I love her. Yes, sir. She's absolutely.
How old is she? Is she like old now, or she's still like?
Well, what would you consider old there, John?
60. Your mom's age. But I bet your mom's still pretty too. I want to see a picture of her.
My cousin Mary, I think she's like 52. She's a good maybe 12 years older than me.
She's probably still got a few miles left.
Mary's beautiful.
So, does she do crime shows too? Maybe
no, she runs equestrian stuff too. She has got a ranch out in Minnesota.
So what was her talent? Was she like dancing, singing, pie girl or something? Or
I don't know.
It's your cousin. You're supposed to know.
That's personal.
No, it's like when you do the Miss America or whatever, they have to have a talent.
I don't know what her talent was. I never asked her.
She was just real purty. That's her talent. Okay, I got you. Or is that like?
It sends you reindeer shit for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble for this, for sure. The viewership just dropped. So
no, but we've got a lot of the same folks working on Chris's case that there are working on Stephen Avery's case.
I was reading through this. I try to come in not too versed on this, but I did a little bit of research to some of the stuff you said, and it sounds like he didn't really have any money or very good counsel.
But his wife's family did.
Oh, so they were really going after him.
They were a little bit more well off than the Vaughn family.
But
They
they
were.
weren't like, oh, this is a tragedy. They were like,
Oh
we
no.
want
Here's
blood.
the
We
thing.
want blood out of this guy. We want him to pay.
This is what is really I find to be strange is they had already lawyered up before Chris's mother knew that their grandbabies were slaughtered.
Yeah, that is puzzling. Why would they even need a lawyer?
Well, considering her dad is one, why would they?
Oh, so he.
Now,
Wow, this
I
gets
know
more weird by the second.
Chris's dad
so
referred to Kimberly's father as an ambulance chaser. He was a jag lawyer.
I got a cousin that's considered. I know a lot of. I actually played on a lawyers league of ambulance chasers basketball.
Is that the same thing as being a rubbernecker? Because my husband calls me a rubbernecker because I'm nosy AF. I'm like, what's going on down there? I see flashing lights. Could be. He's like, no, you can't go down there. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's sort of like the true crime. We're gonna call you instead of a detective. We're gonna call you a rubbernecker in the.
Oh gosh, we were delivering instant card today, and I seen yellow tape around a house. It was just random. It was like we were delivering on an FM Market Road, and I seen yellow tape, and I'm like, oh, can we stop there? He goes, no.
Take some prints. Can we stop and do some forensics? Do some bullets.
I'm like, but I see crime scene tape. He says, you don't learn your lesson.
I think it's a full-time job for your husband to keep you under corral, isn't it?
Yes, I'm a lot. I will admit, I'm a lot.
A lot to take care of. Well, it's good to see you can use some of that energy for this crime show. And this one's got me intrigued now because honestly, I'm about 50-50 on this thing. I mean, the dude could have shot himself in the wrist and shot him in the leg and limped around. I mean, it's plausible that
I do not. Now, if you really want a fair shake, you really want to establish your own opinion, please listen to Lauren's podcast, Murder in Illinois.
I don't want her to mind possess me.
You need to listen to her. Opinion. She is amazing. And she come in thinking that Chris was guilty. She did not think this man was innocent by any means at all. And you'll think that he's guilty until about episode 7 when things start to turn.
Well, I'm already starting to see some stuff here with because you got to look at like who's going to go after this guy, who's protecting the people that have perished.
Well, you can't go against fancy smancy state's attorney James Glasgow because he seems to have everybody in his pocket.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think once they decide you're guilty,
in my opinion, only for entertainment purposes, don't come for me.
Yeah, well, you're not in Texas, but you're not in Illinois either, right? So,
well, I'm an Illinois native, but I'm going to tell you something. After doing research, James Glasgow don't have a very good track record.
Yeah, so you did
that.
So when is this? Is this going to be appealed now, or is this in the process of appeal?
Well, if you can look, he gave a statement saying that with the evidence that was given at hand, they feel that they made the right decision, and I would like to know where he gets that evaluation because they did not have bullet trajectories at the time of Christopher's trial. There was none of that. None.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This sounds like
they didn't even get the crime scene reenactment until many years later. Like there was nothing.
So the Chicago Sun's time is the deal they have going on now to free him, and
yes.
it just it'd be interesting to talk to this guy. I mean, I wish we could like talk to people from the jail and stuff and say, hey, what's up?
I would love to talk to Chris, but he's not. Honestly, I think that he would be. I think that he's happy where he is.
Really?
He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have any of his children. He has established a means of survival. So I think he's fine.
Huh.
But do I think that he deserves to be sitting there? No.
So yeah, I guess that's the next question. So if he does get out, then what? I mean, this is like we see all these cases of people that get they get out or they don't get out or whatever. Or you look at like OJ or somebody like that never really got in, and you think, well, what's their life going to be like?
OJ, he put his kid up to it.
That's an easy example to go to on that. So, but you could go and look at this Chicago Times, and this is a fairly new. I mean, it was 2021.
Yeah.
9/5
It was
of
October,
last year. That's September. Looks like.
September, October. Okay.
Yeah, good thing we don't teach math on this show because 9 months is September. Only reason I know is because it's like my birthday. Actually, that's Obama's birthday is 9/5, I believe.
Don't talk about him on my show.
I'm just saying, and we're the same age too, by the way, as
Oh.
me and your mom, me and your hot
You
mom.
like white boys too?
What's that?
Nothing.
What'd you say? Shut
Nothing. I didn't say nothing.
That's a whole different. Where's my disclaimer on the entertainment purposes only?
I'm sorry. I have no filter.
Get your husband in here with the leash and let's get this reeled back in. But yeah, so and I think Michael Jackson is right around then too on the birthday.
Yeah.
So Michael Jackson, me, and Barack Obama. So I know it's just like a popular year, 61.
Yeah, that's a popular year, I suppose.
We're all old now, trying to get
You're old. I'm not old.
All right, well, let's circle the wagons on this fine episode, and where do we go from here on this thing? I mean, I'd still want to see. Nobody's even voted in the thing about is this guy guilty, innocent, or whatever. It's
you know what? Why don't we do a recap next month whenever I do a rundown of Kevin Fox's case, and we'll see if we have any breakthroughs on Chris's case, and we'll just do a follow-up.
So Kevin Fox is another Illinois person that has been
same county.
And is he in jail still too?
Nope, he was let out.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll do that. And maybe we'll know some more about Bob Saget. The Bob Saget.
Oh,
Saget.
That's a mess.
I don't know. So, okay. All right. Well, hey.
But thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Well, hold on. I got to get the ending up here because I got so into the show I forgot where it was. Oh, there it is. Hold on a second. There it is. All right, everybody. Hey, we'll see you next month. Who knows what we'll have on there, have on the show, but it sounds like this, Fox and the Hound. We'll call it the Fox and the Hound show coming up next month. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, and share this with your friends, even though it is a little crazy.
We're kind of all over the place.
We're trying to make it entertaining for you. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, see you next week or next month.
Next month.
And over and out.
Bye.